That's great. Cool. So welcome everyone. My name is Stefan Hostetter. I'm the community manager for the Spadina location and your sort of facilitator for these how-to CSIs, which if this is your first one, basically what we're doing is we're trying to slowly build up a catalog of information about how different people can get access to all of the different types of supports that CSI has to offer. But to open up, I want to ensure that we acknowledge the fact that at least I personally and CSI itself is located on the traditional territories of the Haudenosaunee, the Huron-Wendat, the Batoon, and the Mississaugas of the Credit, and that this land is governed still to this day by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe to peacefully share the land in a way that would allow everyone to gain access to it. And that's important framing not only just for ourselves, but also for the continued work that we do here at CSI in our ongoing effort to encourage people to share as best as they can. The ways that this particular series goes, we try to keep it as tight and as action-packed and useful for you as possible. So we do a quick opening with a member to explain one of the cool things in regards to Next Economy the members are doing. Then we have the sort of the meat of it, which is the presentation about one of the ways that CSI can serve you. And then we have a change management moment with Sammy at the end, because we understand that this is a time not just of big change here at CSI, but big change across for everyone and every organization. And so these are the things we are working towards. So with that introduction, I throw to Shay to run our quick members moment. Shay, take it away.
Hey, hi all. My name is Shay Sinnott. I'm a senior programs manager with CSI. If you don't know me, I run our Climate Ventures program. So a little bit of context, and we'll do this in just a few minutes. So we at CSI lately have been thinking bigger picture, obviously, and kind of about the broader impact of our work. So if you haven't already, you're going to see us and start to notice us talking more and more about what we say. We say we're about building the next economy and proving what's possible. By next economy, we mean an economic system that puts people and planet first, obviously, and one that is regenerative, equitable, and prosperous for all. We believe that shift is like necessary and urgent, and our work is about supporting that, promoting that, empowering our members to do that great work, because our community is already doing this. And so these member moments, if you've heard these before, are about just like profiling and drawing attention to the work of our members. And so if you're interested in doing a member moment yourself, or you want to learn more, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll put my email in the chat. But today we're lucky to have Sheila Pizzi-Allen. Sheila, let me know if I said your name wrong, because I've never said it out loud. Awesome. From TTCriders. So just quickly, I'm going to ask Sheila a few questions and to share a little bit about their work, and then we will go from there. So Sheila, hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. I'm sitting in the grass.
Yeah, I see. Very summery day. Can you tell us more about TTCriders and what you do?
Thanks for having me. Well, people love to complain about the TTC, and TTCriders tries to turn people's frustration into action. We're a membership-based group of transit users in Toronto, and we work to build the power of transit riders so we can win changes that we need, like lower fares. During the pandemic, we've been really focused on more service and safety measures for riders, and we've had some success winning bus lanes fast-tracked on Eglinton East, but we have much more to do. And we know that if the hundreds of thousands of transit riders in Toronto get together and get organized, that we can win a better transit system for everyone.
Totally. And you are an Annex member, correct? How long have you been with CSI?
We've been there since before I got involved with TTCriders, okay. So definitely at least for maybe even 5 years. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my next question is kind of like, how do you use CSI? Like if you were to highlight ways in which you connect with the community, or what CSI is about for you, especially for those that are new, looking to reconnect. Yeah, like kind of like what advice do you have, or what does CSI mean to you is another way of saying it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think we were part of CSI partly because it's convenient for transit users, like right on the subway, right at the connection of 2 subway points. But the space is really a place to connect with people who have similar missions in the work that they do, maybe are facing similar challenges, a lot of small nonprofits or membership-based groups. So I've just gotten a lot out of the relationships with people and just troubleshooting, like casually, sharing the challenges that we have as a small organization.
Awesome. And then here's the point at which you can put an ask to the community if you like. So kind of like, what do you need from us right now? How can we help you in your work?
Well, if you are taking the TTC or you're seeing any crowding, we would really love to get your pictures sent to us or tweet them at the mayor, because the board of the TTC is deciding tomorrow whether to bring back 100% service.
Wow.
And most of them don't ride transit. So they need to hear from riders about what's really going on the ground and see pictures of the crowding that's happening, that we know is happening in inner suburban neighborhoods on buses.
Cool. Maybe after this, you can just plug your URL or email or whatever in the chat, and then people can follow up with you. And I guess I'll just say thank you for the work that you do, and we're so happy to have you as a member.
Thank you for being such a supportive place for the last few years, and also, yeah, recently as well.
Of course. Thanks for your time today, too. Okay, I think that's it. Unless Sheila has anything else to add, I think it's back to you, Stefan.
All right. Thank you so much. And yes, Sheila, please do post any of the links and ways people can connect to your information there. And of course, we also do send this information along to our community comms team to sort of further amplify this message. And so if you want to be a part of a featured member moment, reach out to your local animator and they can make that possible for you, except for next week, because we already have that one planned. And so moving on to the sort of main topic of this session, which is how CSI sort of connects you to education and acceleration work. As a heads up, this would normally be run by Zoya, our program animator. However, she is currently actually running one of the events that we do, which I'll share with you in a second. And so we might have the whole programming team back again later in November to sort of give another sort of highlight here. Of course, please drop any questions you might have in the chat, or there'll be a space for questions at the end of this as well. And if there's any sort of clarifying things, we're not a huge group today, so if you want to just interrupt me and ask your question, that's totally fine as well. So how do we get connected to CSI and Susan? To confirm, people are effectively seeing this page. Is that correct? Yes, great. Thumbs up. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So let's jump in. Here's the agenda. We'll chat a little bit about education opportunities, how you can make sure you know which ones are coming up, how you might be able to collaborate with our team, and then the signature events that we do host still within this COVID experience. Then I'll mention 2 upcoming accelerators you want to keep an eye on. WOSIN is actually has some applications right now. EarthTech is not yet launched. Well, the first round of EarthTech is closed. Second round is coming in a few months, but I'll let you know about the existence of that, and so you can keep an eye on it. Then links, ways you might be able to get the support you need, including an update in regards to what the digital transformation is going to allow for you to do to get other connections and other supports, and then a place for questions. As a heads up, I can't see the chat right now as I'm doing the presentation. So if either of the animators do see a question in the chat that they think should be posed right away, please feel free to just jump in and do so. Education opportunities. So this is the purpose of the program. So this was written by Zoya and the programming team. And really the goal here is to provide the information you need at the time that you need it. And so there is certainly, we're always running different programmings, and we'll often run the same programs over again, because people have different times of needs, and you might learn something that you need at the right time. And our real goal is to allow for you to get that information, to speed up your ability to get the information, resources, networks, and tools that you need to support your operations. And so what this also means is that we as those who are sort of working on the programming side of it really do value your feedback. If you want a certain kind of workshop to be run, if you have some specific questions about a specific workshop, that is very valuable information to us, because our whole goal is to create things that are valuable to you as members. And of course, whatever questions you might have are probably questions that other people in the same facility have. And so the more feedback we get about the types of programming that you're looking for, the more responsive we can be to those requests. This is Zoya, the social enterprise animator. And basically we have a couple different types of programming. The first is these online workshop series and talks. And so they happen about 2 to 3 times per month, and they're usually a collaboration with an outside organization. Sometimes they're members, sometimes they are, in fact, former staff. Wayne Miranda has run a series of workshops in his new role with the McConnell Foundation. And he used to work here with TechSoup, and sometimes with this external partners who are subject matter experts. And so they are constantly happening and constantly being sort of brought into the conversation. And then we have these signature events. It is the Next Economy conversation that we're actually currently overlapping with right now. And that happens once a month. Tanya Sermon sits down with someone who's working on the Next Economy and has a deep dive conversation. And our very own Shay, who just did that quick chat with Sheila, also runs Climate Ventures Conversations, which is sort of the evolution of Climate Mornings, CV Mornings, which was something pre-COVID we were running, where people could sort of get up and get started and really launch in the morning. But now that it's virtual, we wanted to be able to ensure that people from the West Coast wouldn't have to get up at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning to be able to experience it. So we've moved it out into the afternoon to allow for the maximum number of people across Canada to be able to experience these conversations. And both of those signature events happen monthly and are consistently great sources of new information and sort of really let you sit in deeply in these spaces. This is perhaps the most important slide of the entire operation. It is our programming calendar, and it is the place you can go to find out all of the information. If you go to socialinnovation.org/CSI-programming, you can go find this. It is also under the CSI supports tab right now. And it is the place to find the most in-depth information about what activities are coming up. This includes animation activities like Art Club, but also the workshops and webinars that Zoya runs. And even actually application deadlines. So for our own programs, we make sure that you are aware of when these types of programs will be sort of carrying forward, and when, make sure you don't miss these types of times and things like that. And so that is the, and so one of those things here referenced is in fact MOSIN. And so this page gets updated near the end of every month. And so that's key because you might, if you go in right now, you might not see a ton of things listed in October, but Zoya does update it right near the end of the month, and then all the things sort of populate at once. And so if on the first of every month you sort of check in, you should be pretty confident in your ability to find out everything that is there. Other ways to stay up to date, because we know, obviously going to a web page isn't always doesn't always ping in your brain to remember to check. We do have a Google's members calendar, which allows you to add, in which we add our education and animation events to, and you can actually just directly connect that to your Google Calendar if you have it. It is not the same fulsome information you might find on the programming calendar, but does give you a fair amount of information. The listservs, of course, are a key way. We will always send out information about this on our listservs. And so, if you need a way to sort of filter your listservs because you get a lot of messages, but you want to make sure you don't miss these ones, you can just make sure you read any ones coming from staff, and we do our best to ensure that those ones are, the kinds of important information like these workshops to make sure you get. Although, of course, other members are constantly hosting workshops as well. And so only looking for staff ones likely means you will miss some learning opportunities that are available. Third, our newsletters do share both our own events and also upcoming events. And so you can subscribe to both of those and try to make sure that they provide as much information as possible. And finally, which was maybe the biggest update, and I'll show you one slide of it a little bit later on, the shift over to the common platform will provide us the ability to in a more news feed operation with events linked right there, help you ensure that you are able to stay up to date and find the information and questions you want, and also include a whole bunch of other ways to get connected to other members and have these conversations that might sort of help support your work, which I'll get to in a second. Workshop collaboration. So this is, there are three sort of sections here and questions. The main question for, if you want to collaborate, that is excellent and wonderful, of course. A question to ask yourself is, are you an expert and have you run workshops on this topic before? As I mentioned, we only run a couple a month. And as a third point says, we're choosing these workshops on member needs. And so if you do reach out with a workshop and it doesn't make sense for us to collaborate right now, that can keep you on our Rolodex and be sure that we reach out if your topic is necessary, or if we sort of see some groundswell from members asking for that kind of workshop, then we can certainly help that. And then the other thing I mentioned, again, with this common platform update, is that one of the features is allowing yourself you can create a little tagline along with your own profile about the type of expertise that you have to offer, meaning that when we are looking for this type of workshop, we'll be able to search the common platform to find out what members of ours already have this expertise and can reach out to you. So updating that information will certainly help when that transformation happens on October 5th. The conversation series I sort of covered them previously before, but again, this is CV Conversations. This is the one that is that is run by Shay, happens monthly, and is all around the climate and different organizations and trying to work towards climate justice, and that's been happening for about a year now. And then the slightly more recent launch is Next Economy Conversations, which again is happening right now, happens once a month, facilitated by Zoya, and then, or sort of overarchingly facilitated by Zoya, and then the conversation is between our CEO, Tanya Sermon, and another member of the larger, more broad community of people working towards the next economy. And upcoming accelerators. So this is just, again, two quick notes about two things that are coming up that you should pay attention to. The first you might have noticed is the WOSEN program. It's already on the programming calendar, and this stands for the Women of Ontario Social Enterprise Network. This is a somewhat complicated program in that it has a bunch of different ways in and out. And so, as I mentioned, they showed you these three different types of things that are currently going on. And more information can be found on the WOSEN page of our website. So I very strongly encourage you to check that out. There are sort of rolling applications to different parts of this program. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to connect you with Mitali, who is our staff member running this program. But it's great, and I highly recommend checking it out. The second is our Earth Tech Accelerator, which has just the first year just closed up about a month or two ago to great success. We'll be launching year 2 in the coming months, and that will be and that is for people working on freshwater and climate tech solutions. Our first set of Earth Tech participants have had a series of successes. In fact, one who we actually highlighted, I believe it was 2 weeks ago at this member moment, just recently won a small competition through ONEA, the Ontario Environment Industry Association. And so these are great organizations, and so if you're working on something in regards to climate or water, this is a great place to get connected to a whole bunch of other organizations. And it's a year-long program. We go through a number of supports. You get connected to advisors, and it's a really great program. And of course, if you have any questions, that will be coming out over the next month or two.
I chime in. We're recruiting for Earth Tech 2021 starting next Thursday, October 1st.
Oh, wow. So much sooner than I thought it was.
Yes, it's
Great.
very soon. And
Yeah.
it'll be open for a month. So if you yourself want to apply, or if you know any ventures or early stage startups working on tech to address freshwater or climate change outcomes. And then as well, we're going to hold a public demo night on October 28th in the evening. You'll see some news coming out about that very soon as well, likely next week. Thanks. Sorry to interrupt, Stefan.
No, that's great. That's exactly the kind of information that I did not have. So thank you very much, Shay. So next week, applications open. So keep an eye out for that. And then finally, ensuring that you can get the support you need. And so these are a couple of ways that we're sort of building out, and you'll only see in a second. The first, as mentioned previously, is the listservs. I know emailing in this fashion is still antiquated. However, so commonly, we still hear that people sort of have an ask they're not sure about, or that they send out, or they're curious about, and then the community sort of steps up and is able to connect them with a whole series of things. These are, there's all members, which is obvious for everyone. Location-specific ones are also good if you want a sort of a smaller group of people. And then the announcements list is the one that we really try to make sure that you are able to. These are the ones that are important enough information that we sort of send out, and that we sort of try to keep as many people on as possible. And that's from staff, and that will usually include links to the different types of supports that we have access to. And honestly, the other part about this is just emailing any member of the staff team who's sending out on the announcements list is a great way to begin figuring out where we might be able to help you and how we can support your work. The second one, which I think is actually bigger news and will really sort of bring our ability to do this to the next level, is what you mentioned previously, the common platform. By coming here, you get the first glimpse of this is a screen cap I took from the beta that we're just finishing up testing, and will be launched October 5th. And but it, as I mentioned previously, has an ability to list all of the types of supports that members actually have. So you'll be able to search for members for the type of support you need. So if you're actually looking for legal support, you'll be able to search directly and find all of the members who have indicated they're able to support you in that. And therefore you as a person can also then share your knowledge as well. And I think that this opportunity really gives us an ability to up-level the connections that you're able to make within CSI, and then get the support you need tailor-made to anything specific. You'll also notice that there's a forum function, which allows you to ask questions and people can sort of answer in a forum sort of discussion-based process, which will hopefully remove some of the back and forth, replying all members on our listservs, but also give a place for more fulsome discussion to really get at some of these more difficult questions, and then which will be then searchable later on. So, we often have scenarios where there'll be a list, or there'll be a question on listserv, which will get a whole bunch of good responses. And then a year later, the same question comes up, and this way we'll have that saved. And so you'll be able to search back and forth to be like, I'm looking for an accountant. I wonder if anyone has suggested accountants previously. And then you can come on here and find that information stored and saved for you. And so I think that is going to be a huge advantage in coming again October 5th. Are there any questions? All right, great. I'm going to presume I'll stop sharing now so I can at least check the comment thread. But looks like those are just more information being shared, and yeah, that's fantastic. And so, with that information shared, if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email. My email is Stefan, S-T-E-F-A-N, @socialinnovation.ca, or any of your site managers that can help you out as well. And with that said, I'm going to throw to Sammy for our change management minute. Sammy, take it away.
Thank you so much, Stefan. Hello, everyone, and great to see you all. And if I'm able to share my screen. So today we are continuing with the shared management tips. And am I able to do it? Oh, great. How do I hide this thing? Oh, great. So one of the most important things about change management is actually having a very good communication plan, because most of the change programs that actually succeed reinforce the main messages, the core ones, that through regular and timely information and advice. And we have to keep in mind that communication is both outbound and inbound, and between all management and audience levels, so we share the right information. And we should expect to be ready to receive input and feedback from the recipients of those pieces of information. There are some fundamental pieces that we need to care about and identify. First, we need to know who our target audiences are, so the who, and what are the key messages we are looking of the strategy that we need to articulate with the audiences, and when we need to send the delivery to send those messages. So when is the appropriate time for doing that? And why are we actually sending the messages? So what are the desired outcomes in our communications that we want to convey to the audience? And how we also communicate the messages. So what are the channels or the vehicles, so how the messages will be delivered to our audiences. And lastly, we need to identify who will be delivering those messages, who will be the sender for each message, and depending on its content. The channels we have, that we have to utilize all available channels for communicating our messages and information. And that could be our committee or board meetings, team meetings. It can be through the online communications, so email, if we have Slack channels, some people use WhatsApp and so on. And then we can also use the periodic print publications that can be sent on specific dates. And of course, we have the town hall meetings where part of the team, like managers or directors or people who are leading the project, can actually talk to the audience at one go in a gathered situation. So we can't stress enough how communication is important, because one of the main factors that's common to successful change management is having informed stakeholders. Ongoing communication with all stakeholders will ensure that we have alignment and will gain commitment from our stakeholders. And that's it. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please. And how can I go back to, sorry.
No worries. Thank you so much, Sammy.
No worries. And how do you end the thingy? I can even see it now. Sorry about that.
Screen and sharing.
That's what I want to do, but like it's not available for some strange reason. Oh, there it is.
Success.
Stop it, you. No, not the one. Not the one. Sorry, guys.
No worries at all, Sammy. The thank you screen is a perfectly fine segment.
No worries. Stop share. I did it.
Wow. You nailed it. Well done, Sammy. So does anyone have any questions about the change management tip, about the presentation, or honestly, at this point, we have a few minutes, so about anything else? I am going to post a link that we're doing with every online event where we're asking members who might have feedback to fill out the feedback form, which I just posted in the chat. Again, we're trying, this is this 12-week series, and so I want to make sure these continue to be useful for folks to be able to ask the questions and get the answers they're looking for. And so both, if there was a way we could convey this information more helpfully, let us know. If there's a topic you want us to cover, we have not yet set our November schedule yet, and so please let us know if anything else you want us to cover is there. And yeah, any final questions? And if not, I'll go back to Summer Girl to play us out. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. If you do have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Peer around the corner at you. From over my shoulder, I need you.
The song is less depressing than the one I chose 2 weeks ago.
These are the earthquake drills that we ran under the freeway overpass. The tears behind your dark sunglasses, the fears inside your heart's deepest gashes. Walk beside me, not behind me. Feel my unconditional love.
Hi, Tina. All right. Bye, friends.
Guys, have a
Thank you so
wonderful
much, Manny.
day.
That was great.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.